Welcome everyone to the Bran'sTech podcast. We're so glad to have you here today. This podcast episode is in both audio and video form. The audio form is found anywhere you can find podcasts, but to check out the video, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Tansson Talks. This episode will begin in just one moment after these messages, so please stay tuned. Hello everyone, this is Brandon K. Hedgepeth, your friend, lifelong learner, and communicator, and I am here again for another episode with you all. I'm so glad to have you all here today. So let me take a moment to go ahead and introduce, or rather reintroduce, today's guest. My guest here today is in her second year at Georgia Tech, majoring in aerospace engineering. Her primary focus is in space policy, and with that being said, please welcome my guest today, Althea Noonan. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm really glad to have you here. Thank you for taking a moment out of your very busy schedule to be here.
Of course, I'm glad it worked out.
Oh yeah, so first of all, how have you been?
I've been well. The semester's been busy, but it's exciting to be back and, be back on campus, back in classes and seeing my friends again.
Well, that is great to hear. And so I did want to take a moment to allow you to go ahead and reintroduce yourself to the listening or viewing audience before we go ahead and get started for today.
My name's Althea. I'm currently a second-year undergrad at Georgia Tech studying aerospace engineering, and I'm minoring in international affairs. As Brandon said, I'm interested in space policy, so that has shaped a lot of my studies, and hence the international affairs minor.
Well, that is great to hear, and definitely congratulations on your minor, by the way.
Thank you. I'm excited about it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I'm glad that you are, and especially based off our last discussion as well. I know you're pretty excited to get into this, so I'm going to go ahead and get started by asking, so right now it is, of course, fall 2022. It's hard to believe it's already fall, and we're heading towards the end of the year already.
I know, it's almost October. Crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is. And so, but you had a pretty eventful summer, that just passed. And so, how was the summer for you? Because I definitely have been keeping in touch with you. And for those listening, we actually met in person for once, finally.
Yes. We were able to intern together for the Virginia Space Grant Consortium this summer. So it was great working with you at VAS.
Yeah, it was great working with you as well. And what was so funny, though, is we didn't even really know we were going to work with each other until practically right when we spoke last time.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad it worked out like that, too.
Yeah, it was such a big coincidence. But going back to your summer, though, so how was the summer? And what were some of the things that you've done? Because it's just blown my mind seeing all of the different stuff that you have done all online, and so I really can't wait to hear about it.
I had a really, really great summer. I got to do a lot of things, which I'm very fortunate, and it was super fun. So as I said, I interned for the Virginia Space Grant Consortium, so I did the VEST Summer Academy, which takes place at NASA Langley and is more Earth science based, as well as I interned for the VAST Summer Academy, which is more deep space and Mars mission based. So those are really unique opportunities because I got to work with the students and the high schoolers who were interested in these topics. And then we also got to take them on tours around Langley. So we got to tag along as interns and see some really amazing things as well. So that was definitely a highlight. It was very cool. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And then so I'm on the Georgia Tech Experimental Rocketry Club at school. And so we build two-stage solid fuel rockets. And we got the privilege of launching the rocket we spent the last year building in the Mojave Desert this summer. So we all flew out to California, stayed in a Motel 6, and commuted to the Friends of Amateur Rocketry farm, or the acronym's farm, their launch site. And we were able to launch a rocket called Mr. Blue Sky. So that was very cool. I'd never been that far out west. I'd never been to California before. So it was amazing to be there and then to be in the desert and just to like see all the hard work my teammates had put in and get to watch the rocket launch was amazing. And then we got to look for it. We got to do recovery in the desert, and find like the booster and the motor and the nose cone, and that was amazing. Additionally, I was working as a part-time space policy researcher for the research I started last semester. My group is still working on a paper based on that research, so I was able to do that remotely from home, which was great because I had those other things going on, so it was nice that I could do that virtually.
Wow, that is quite a lot. And the fact that you were able to do this all during a college summer, like leaving out of your first year, like I don't even know how you'd be able to top that for the next 3 years. I mean, if this is all the yeah, but I mean, I'm sure that you will find a way somehow to manage to top that for the next 3 years. I don't know how yet, but I'm sure you will.
So it was really cool.
And well, that's great. And so I guess which one started off the summer for you?
Oh gosh. I think the first thing I did was VES. I think that was my first. And then I was lifeguarding when I was home because I was like gone for a week, back for a week for a while. So I got back from VES, worked for about a week, and then flew to California after that. And then VAS was after that experience.
Wow. And I like how casual you put it that you went from Georgia to Virginia to California back to Virginia. That
Oh my gosh, I did so much traveling this summer. It was a lot. It was exhausting, but it was a lot of fun. The flight to California was really fun. It was crazy because I had a layover in New York on the way there. So I flew like from Virginia to New York to LA.
Wow, that is crazy. And so have you ever done this much consecutive flights and travel back to back before?
Oh, definitely not. I have not. So it was good. I was glad I could drive to Vess and Bass and didn't have to fly.
Well, that's the good thing at least that you were at least able to have some ground time before you spent all the time in flight. But I mean, I guess that goes well with aerospace. I mean, you have to go up at some point, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I guess I'll start off with VES and VAS, and so both of those are with the Virginia Space Grant Consortium, as we mentioned before. And so for you interning with both of those programs, I believe that was your first time interning for one of the programs, I believe.
Yes.
And so how was that experience being able to do that, be with students and have a really hands-on role in a program that, you and both of us were enrolled in at some point as a student?
I thought it was really amazing getting to come back and intern for those programs, especially as you said, doing them as a student. I did VAS, and Space Coast Scholars with the Space Grant Consortium. So it was amazing to get to come back and be in an intern position. It was really cool to see these high schoolers who, are in the same place that I was in a few years ago. And it was kind of a nice full circle moment. It was really crazy, reflecting back to being in their shoes. And it was just so fun getting to see them get excited about their projects and helping them learn because they truly learned so much in those weeks. So that was a really special experience.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to enjoy it. And like I said, not just, yeah, of course, put yourself in their shoes, but you were once there. And
Yeah.
so, and the fact you were able to be intern for 2 of the free programs that you were a part of.
Yes.
Yeah. And maybe one of these days you'll get to intern for the third one as well.
I hope so. I hope so. I unfortunately got COVID after my trip to California, so I was supposed to intern for Space Coast, but was sick, so I couldn't go to that one. So hopefully next summer I'll get to go to the Wallops.
Well, hopefully you are able to. And so, had you been able to intern for the third program, where would that have been between in terms of in your schedule? Because I think you said that would have been after California. What would have been after that?
It would have been it would have been like 3 days after getting back from California, and then I would have had a week in between that and VAST. But instead, I stayed home for that week in isolation, and then worked for a week, and then went to VAST. But thankfully, my symptoms weren't that bad. Was lucky about that. I think it was just a lot of traveling with a lot of people on those planes. So yeah.
Wow. But the fact that even without, the third internship for the summer, the fact that you were still able to have such a busy and eventful time just really says a lot about how much you were able to really cram out of your summer. And so right now you are, of course, in your second year of being at Georgia Tech as a student. And so do you have any plans as big as the ones for your summer for this semester, fall 2022?
Yeah. So this semester I'm involved with the same international affairs research position. I'm continuing that. And I recently started a new research position in the Space Systems Design Lab on campus. So I'm working on the GTX CubeSat series, which is it's about making or kind of optimizing the production of 1U CubeSats. So we have a structures team, which I'm a part of, and then we also have teams that work on the avionics and the solar panels for the satellites. So we're currently developing the GT2 structure, and that satellite, I I don't want to say the wrong date, but I believe it's in some point late winter. The satellite production will be done, and we'll have to ship it off to the launch provider. So we're kind of seeing that. I'm kind of seeing the tail end of that process, but we're also working on designing improvements for GT3, which is a lot of the work that I've been doing. Because the cool thing about this program is that the satellite development is iterative. So each generation is a little more improved because we've learned from the previous one. So, which I really like. That's one of my favorite things about engineering is just improving upon design based on lessons you learn. So I think that's something that I'm really enjoying right now.
But that's pretty cool that you're able to, I mean, be a part of that process and so early on too. And even though you said your work is at the tail end of the project, it's still a very important piece.
Right. It's been really interesting seeing both ends of the design process. So I'm fortunate. I feel like I've joined the group at a really interesting time.
Well, I'm glad that timing has really worked out for you in that regard. But how cool is that to say that you've been able to do this in your second year alone? I mean, isn't that cool?
Yes, I think so. I think so. I'm really excited about all these opportunities and trying to make the most of them.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. I mean, that it's all working out for you. And actually, before I continue talking about this semester, I actually want to go back a little because the last time we spoke was towards the end of your, I'm trying to think, spring 2022 semester. And so I believe our interview released in May. But we'd recorded several weeks before that. And so how'd the rest of your spring semester go along?
It was great. Spring semester was it was a lot of fun. I'd kind of adjusted to college. had my group of friends. So it was nice to get to enjoy springtime, and I was still doing my international affairs research position, which I love, and it was a good semester.
Well, I'm glad that it was able to work out, really help prepare you for both this past summer and then this semester as well. And then, truly, being able to hear, like I said, all of the stuff that you're doing is just so remarkable to hear, how much you're really able to do and really making the most of your education.
Absolutely, yeah. Georgia Tech has a lot of really amazing opportunities, and they really encourage students to get involved with research. So I'm lucky to have those opportunities available.
Yeah, definitely. And so I actually want to turn the floor over to you because I'm sure that there are so many different projects and other ambitions that you are currently working towards that I don't actually I'm not actually aware of. So I definitely want to turn it over to you because I'm sure that you're able to definitely speak upon more of that. And I'd really love to hear like everything that you've been up to and working on, or even working towards in the long
Yeah.
term.
So right now I've been kind of busy trying to get some intern applications for this summer in. Working on that. I just applied to the NASA Pathways program, which is a long shot, but it was nice to be able to apply because last year around this time they release applications in the fall every year, and like I wasn't eligible because I didn't have enough college credit hours, and I applied anyway because I just wanted to like submit an application to see what the process is like. So it was kind of crazy like submitting that application this year because I've come a long way since fall of last year and have completed some college credit hours. So that was kind of a a fun experience I had recently. But other than that, I've been just trying to get through my classes. Our exams are starting to happen, so that's been a little stressful, but we'll get through it. And then the research, I also recently started in the Aero Makerspace on campus, so which is super cool and I love it there. It's like this um, big space for there are lots of maker spaces on campus. The aerospace one isn't just for aerospace majors, it just happens to be in like the aerospace section of campus. So we have all free to use for students. We have like a lot of woodworking tools. We have several 3D printers. We have a couple laser cutters, and we're supposed to get a new one soon. So fingers crossed on that. And so that's been really cool because I've gotten to learn more about how to use those machines, and it's fun to help other people with their projects because people have cool stuff going on. People come in there for research projects, they come in there for personal projects. Some of the classes on campus have students doing projects in the AMS, so I've really enjoyed that so far.
Wow, that is actually pretty cool. And especially being able to have a space where you're able to work on all these projects, not just
Yeah.
exclusive to aerospace majors. And so that's kind of cool that you're able to have a space where you're able to be creative and make the most of your projects.
It is, and all the materials are free to use for students. We have a lot of filament. Right now we have this dual colored filament that's like in a ton of different colors. Like one is like a shiny gold and a shiny pink. And so when it prints, like the whatever you've just printed has like two colors in it, which I think is super cool.
That's actually pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I'm just so like excited hearing about like everything that you've been doing, everything that you've been up to. And like I said, I've been looking forward to hearing about this. Like I said, for quite a while. I know we had been discussing a bit, back in June and July when we were, like I said, truly face to face speaking with each other, which is it feels so crazy because you know I've only known you virtually,
I
like
know.
so it was
Yeah. Did Vest online.
yeah. Yeah, and like it's so crazy to, I mean, to be able to see people like and match them up, like when you see them in person and work
Yeah,
alongside them. And yeah, and like I said, it was so great being able to work with you. I mean, yeah, for that whole week, and it was just such a fun
absolutely.
experience. And yeah, and actually to go back to that a little, since I definitely am, of course, more familiar with it since obviously we were both there. Is for you, how was it getting adjusted to, I guess, the new role for you in the sense of, you've done, plenty of aerospace stuff. You've done plenty of research and development. And of course, as a student, writing papers and working with the team, but now being on a instructor side of it as an intern. I mean, truly, if you're able, I mean, if you're willing to definitely take a little bit more of a deep dive into this, because I
Yeah,
mean, I
absolutely.
really want to hear how, your thoughts about this since we have had a little bit more time.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that role. I really like teamwork and team based projects, and so it was really great to get to work with the students on that. It was definitely a bit of an adjustment from being a student because now I was in a leadership position with that, but I honestly really enjoyed it. Um, I it was like the students there are they're all so smart and they all have such great ideas. So it was in some cases the groups kind of lead themselves on like the project based side because they're all very capable. So I think like most of my role was just like facilitating discussion or like making sure everyone was on track and um, just kind of like getting them to their next task in the academy. And I think that's something I was able to adjust to pretty easily because the students were so good at, their like roles in the team.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, and I mean, I feel the same way because even though this was my second year, it was my first in person, so it's like relearning it all over again. And so I think what's interesting too is for most of us, I mean, we were all practically there. I mean, truly for the, like, for one of the first times, just truly trying to figure it all out and work together. And even though most of us hadn't met, I mean, we all worked so well together.
The intern experience was so great. Everyone we worked with was super, super nice. So that was really fun. Like our own team.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it was such a fun experience. I mean, overall, and I mean, being able to have that week, and it's so interesting because even though you might hear a week internship, I mean, that's sort of short, but it feels so much longer when when you're a part
Oh,
of
it
it. Like it's
does,
just,
especially if you're getting up at 6 a.m. every day. It feels like a longer than a week.
yeah, exactly. Because I don't remember the exact amount of hours we worked at that week, but it definitely like by like day two, day three, it just felt like this was just the norm. The norm. Like we had
Yeah,
just been dealing with this for like months now.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Those academies are so involved that you just kind of get sucked into it.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I love how, I mean, like I said, how interactive it was, and how you really get to bond with the students and get to know them. And yeah, I mean, and then like at the end of the week, it's kind of like bittersweet because
It
yeah, it's like
is.
you're glad that the students have, grown and evolved, but at the same time, it's just like I probably won't hear from half these people again, at
I
least not for a
know.
while.
I know. It is definitely really bittersweet. It's like, by the end of the week everyone's kind of tired, but I feel like you get to know everyone really well. So it's hard to say goodbye.
Yeah, definitely. And over this past year for you, having done all of these different experiences from your first year of Georgia Tech to the summer to even now, what are some of the things I guess you have really learned and taken away from, I mean, from this whole time, or even some, some habits that you may have changed to better help you overall. Because I know a lot of people here, of course, are very interested in so many of these different fields, and maybe they're just still trying to get adjusted.
I think one of the things that has really helped me get these opportunities and learn more about them is just the importance of getting to know people within the programs, talking to people who are upperclassmen, who are older than me, because they all have great advice to offer, and they all, since they've been here longer, like they know more about things to get involved in and what that's like. So I think that's one of the main things I've learned, is that it's really important to just talk to people and to ask them about their experiences. And in my experience here, everyone has been so willing to help you out if you have questions. So I've learned to ask any questions that I have, because most people are going to be really happy to help you out, because someone likely helped them out when they were in your position. So I think that's one of the things that I've really taken away from specifically my first year. And then as I dive deeper into a lot of these positions, I'm learning that I have to continue to really ask questions, because there's such a steep learning curve. And I definitely don't know a lot right now, but I'm willing to learn, and am really working on asking for help and asking my teammates and those who are in positions above me to lend me their knowledge and help me to figure things out. And that's been really beneficial, because they have so much to teach me.
I really like how you worded that, and really stated that. And even for me as a podcaster, being able to hear so many different people's stories and hearing all of their advice, their life lessons, I did this and definitely don't do that. Yeah. Having heard so much of this, it's really impacted me, and in such a tremendous way. And so it's really crazy how to think that these experiences really build you up to where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, it cut out for a second. There was a bit of delay, but I absolutely agree. I love hearing people's experiences and seeing what they have to share.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, Althea, this has been so great being able to speak with you and to really catch up with you. And like I said, thank you so much for being on, not just today, but last time as well. And like I said, this has just been such a fun experience, getting able to get to know you better.
Yeah. Thank you again so much for having me. It's been good to talk to you again as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. And before I let you go, though, I did, first of all, want to allow you to, if there's any social media sites or anywhere that people can continue hearing your story, I definitely did want to allow an opportunity for you to share that here as well.
Absolutely. I'm available on LinkedIn, Althea Noonan. I should pop up. And I'm happy to answer any questions or respond to messages if people have any. That's a good place to reach me.
Well, that is great to hear. And so before I let you go, I did want to allow an opportunity for you to go ahead and close us out with a life lesson, inspirational quote, or anything that you'd like for the listening audience as we close it out. And I'll let you take it away.
Absolutely. So I think one of the things that's really important to me is just learning. I love to learn. I want to continue to learn throughout everything I do in my career, in my school experience. So I think that's a message I'd like to leave with the listeners, is to continue to learn and to learn from those around you, because they truly have so much to offer.
Well, that is great. Well, thank you so much once again for being here. It's always a pleasure being able to speak with you. I definitely know you're always welcome here on the platform.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course. And for those of you watching or listening, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in and for supporting both the platform and my amazing guests. It's such a pleasure to have you all here today. And yeah, have a wonderful day, everyone. And let's make things happen. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Thank you so much to Podpage for sponsoring the Bran'sTech Catch-Up series. Use the referral link included in this podcast to learn more. A big thank you, of course, goes out to all of you listeners out there and to our amazing guests who come on out and be on the platform. Bran'sTech has been created and produced by Brandon K. Hedgepeth of Tansson, LLC.